Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dorothy Mae Mercer for Talk Story TV. Today we have a young lady who has been a winner in several contests as one of the leading physical fitness experts in the Los Angeles area. She's been featured on major networks and in magazines, and she's written several books. And so she's going to tell us how to be fit and get beautiful abs and increase our appeal to our sex partner. How about that? Stay tuned to JJ Flizanes, and welcome to the show, JJ.
Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you.
You're welcome. Tell us about yourself.
Tell you about myself. Well, I live in Los Angeles. I own a company called Invisible Fitness. We do personal training and workshops and seminars. We've created products like the 90-day health and body makeover and the 6-week beach body program, which incorporates hypnosis and using the mind to help change the body. I've also written 2 books. The first book is The Fit to Love, How to Become Physically, Emotionally, and Spiritually Fit to Attract the Love of Your Life. However, part of me wrote this for the single women out there who think that men are only visual and that they're attracting people based on what they look like physically. And the book really is for anyone who needs to have a better relationship with themselves, because you often attract people who reflect how you treat yourself. So we can take off the attract love of your life part and just say how to get physically, emotionally, and spiritually fit, period. And then I wrote a book called Absolute Abs with a company called NAC. They've got a lot of different books. It's sort of a idiots and dummies series, so it's like abs for idiots, basically. And this book is a picture book, and it has a lot of pictures about exercise and food and different tools that you can use for measuring and tools you can use to help change the mental, emotional connection you have and become more motivated and retrain yourself with some of the tools that I have that I implemented into the book. So, so a little bit of body, a little bit of emotion, a little bit of spirit, and a little bit of love.
Oh, that's wonderful, JJ. I'm sure that all those folks in the Los Angeles area will be flocking to your studio and to the bookstores. Where else can they find your books?
Amazon. Amazon.com.
No problem.
Yeah, they're both hard copy and Kindle versions of both books.
Okay. And tell us about some of your other appearances. I know you've been all over the place.
I've been on NBC, KTLA, Fox 11, CBS. I've been featured in Shape Magazine, in Muscle and Fitness Hers, in Fitness Magazine. There's a whole list of them, and I don't remember all of them, but let's just say there's a lot. And, yes, there's a lot of publicity.
We're really happy to have you on Talk Story TV. So we're anxiously waiting for you to give us a few tips on how we can improve our body, mind, and spirit to attract the love of our life. Give us a few tips.
Well, okay. The first tip I would give you, and it's really not a tip, it's more of it's a to-do, would be to start noticing how you treat yourself. So oftentimes how you treat yourself really is the blueprint from which other people treat you. Because you're the example. You're the example, and how you treat yourself lets others know what's acceptable for you. So, for instance, I often say, if you're unwilling to be the own love of your life or to treat yourself like a queen, why would you expect anybody else to? You have to start with you. You show others how to treat you. So that's kind of it's not really a tip, it's more of a little bit of an insight, which actually can lead to a whole new revelation, if you will, of looking at how you treat yourself. But that's one of the first most important parts.
Well,
the second is that...
For example, how could I be treating myself that would not be attractive?
Well, it's not about being attractive. It's about, so for instance, let's take a lot of women, when they meet a man in the beginning, they're sort of on their best behavior, and they're a little quieter, and they try harder to sort of keep it all together and not show the men all their crazy, emotional, neurotic thoughts and insecurities. They don't lay the insecurities out on the table, right? So that what happens is they usually attract a man, or if you're you attract a partner who then is complimentary. They think very good thoughts about you. They treat you very well. And then what happens after a few weeks or a few months after your personality emerges and all of those insecurities come to the surface is that now you're finding that your partner is no longer as complimentary. Your partner is not as flattering and maybe starting to do things that they didn't do in the beginning because you have shown them that you don't think that you're worth being on time for or calling back or respecting or and so therefore that they're just repeating back to you what you have shown. So it's really about a reflection. It's not that they've changed. It's that you've you've trained them how to treat you. So and it can happen across.
Am I supposed to, if the guy doesn't call me back or return my calls or he's late for our appointment, what am I supposed to say?
Well, the only person you can control is yourself at all times.
Okay.
You can only control your thoughts, your actions, and your responses, right? You can't control anybody else. However, you can influence based on the frequency at which you live, and the happier people are more attractive. Who wants to be around someone who's complaining and negative, right? So if you're constantly complaining and everything's a problem and there's so much drama all around you, people who don't want to be a part of drama will eventually leave and not want to be around you because they don't want to be involved in the drama that you have going on. So if you've gone on a date with a guy, anyway, this is actually my story. My story was that my husband and I met. I was dating someone else. He was dating someone else. I knew that there was interest. I encouraged the friends where we met to have another party 2 weeks later just for me to really kind of see what I thought was true. And then I was very clear that he was interested, and I was pretty clear I was interested. And then it took him 8 months to ask me out. Okay, it took him 8 months.
8 months.
8 months. And it was not even a question if he was interested or not. It was clear. Everything was crystal clear. So the average woman would say, oh my God, why is he not calling me? Oh my God, why is he not asking me out? What's wrong with me? What did I do? What did I do wrong? And they would go through this whole litany of questions and self-doubt. Well, I knew that he was interested, so I had trusted. And I also have been studying men for 10 years. So I also trusted that if he isn't ready to step up, then there's a reason. And I don't know what it is, and that's his business. It's not mine. So I'm not going to sit around and wait by the phone and wait for him. If he's the right person, he'll eventually step up. If he's not the right person, then I was attracted to him, and he's not the right person. So
That's okay.
That's
my husband will get that telephone call. So what happened? I'm dying to know.
Well, I mean, he did call after, I don't even know how long it took between that second time we saw each other, but, he did call, and it was an interesting conversation because, I'm older, I'm 3 years older than he is, and I know he was feeling slightly insecure, like, oh my God, she has this company, and she's all over the internet, and so he was, kind of checking himself with like, okay, she's, done some things, and how do I feel about that, and am I okay with that, how's she going to respond to me? And so he did call, and that first phone call was, he actually told me, it was very cute. He told me that he dialed the phone like 18 times before he actually let it ring the whole way through. Or something like that. Maybe not 18, maybe it was 7, but whatever. It was a number, around 10. And so that was really cute. But then at the end of the conversation, as I'm waiting to hear him ask me to do something, or to go out, or to meet up, he doesn't, because he's kind of chickening out in a way, and he's not ready yet, and he says, well, if you're ever down, he was living in Dana Point, Tustin area at the time. He said, well, if you're ever in the Tustin area, let me know. And in my mind, I'm thinking, no, that is lame. No. So I said, well, if you're ever in the Manhattan Beach area, let me know. Like, I wasn't gonna, because see, I am a strong when I want something, I take action quickly. I'm very fast. I'm a fast thinker. I'm a fast processor. And so it would have been very easy for me to have said, yeah, let's go out. I'll come down. Sure, I'll come down and meet you. But the problem with that is that that's me taking charge as the masculine energy. And that's not what I want. I want to be the feminine energy. So I need a man who's going to be the masculine to take charge and make a plan. And if he's not, then there's a reason he's not ready.
Well, obviously, somehow or other, you two got together because you got married.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Fantastic story. Now, all our viewers are still sitting on their edge of their seats because you promised to tell us what they could do to improve their bodies for having to do with their intimate relationship, shall we say? Oh, sex life.
Okay, well, yes, in Fit to Love, I've got a chapter about sexual fitness. So first we need to discuss, what is sexual fitness? And it's not just sex. It's your sexual energy. So again, the feminine versus the masculine essence. It's your relationship to your own body and to pleasing and pleasuring your own self in whatever that means, as well as the physical act of sex. So depending on, some people are really very fit and they have no problem going through the physical act of sex. However, they may have shame or they may feel insecure about their body, which is going to prevent them from fully enjoying or moving to the next level of what the physical can do for them. When you feel the sense of freedom, when you feel the sense of connectedness all over the place, then that's going to enhance what happens. It won't be just a physical release or experience. It can be an emotional and mental and spiritual release at the same time, which is much more profound than just the physical. And on the flip side, there are some people who are happy. There are some people who are very happy with their bodies or seemingly comfortable in their bodies, but they don't have the stamina to have sex. They sort of become, they get tired quickly. And so then you really can't enjoy the entire process if your leg's cramping and you're out of breath and you just don't feel like your body literally can't keep up with you. So we have a couple.
It does require energy, right?
Right. So you have to, just like exercise and just like sports, you have to train for it. You need to be if you're not doing anything, athletically anywhere else, then why do you expect to sort of work at a higher intensity level for however long your duration is? And then, and feel comfortable. I mean, it's work. So you have to be very motivated to work harder than you're used to, or you need to increase your fitness level so that you can enjoy it.
So it's not any one particular aspect of your fitness. It's an overall fitness that you're speaking about.
Well, it's if someone is doing a well-rounded exercise program, you've got cardio, you've got resistance training in your program, and then you're probably fine. But if someone's just doing cardio, but they don't have any resistance, and so they're weaker and they can't really hold themselves in certain positions and they can't use their arms too long or be in this position because they're too weak to hold themselves up, that's an issue. If you're only doing short bursts of exercise for cardiovascular, then you probably can't stay in a position for a long period of time because it'll also cramp up your muscles. So a well-rounded exercise routine and actually incorporating a lot more hip motion. So for instance, like in Pilates exercises. Pilates is one of those program. Uh-oh. What happened? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you see me? Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, sorry, I'm screen. No, I can't see anything, but that's okay. My light's on. If you can see me, we're good. Oh no. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
My computer's doing strange things. Okay, see? Okay, that was me.
I heard your kitty cat. What is she up to?
I kicked her out because she was all over the place. But back to sexual fitness. So for those people that are doing short bursts of cardiovascular work, I would incorporate, if you're finding that you're getting tired in having sex, you can't do it for long periods of time, that to add in some more steady state training. So, a duration versus just high interval training. So anyway, so in terms of your fitness program, I've got some I've got some information in the book, even more specific about the kinds of exercises. Oh, back to Pilates. So Pilates is one of those kinds of exercises that isn't really a very big muscle building program, and it's not a big burning calorie program. However, Pilates is really great for extending your active range of motion. So it's some of it's active stretching. So for hips, absolutely, Pilates is a great exercise to start to get more hip mobility.
You used a term that I'd like you to define for me, and that was steady state exercise. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so in cardiovascular work, there's really 2 or 3, I guess you can categorize 3 different. There's interval training, which means you change the intensity level to go up and down for fat burning purposes. There's also high blast. So basically it's interval training. So if, let's say I'm running, it could be like I'm running really fast and then I walk for a little while, and then I run for 60 more seconds and then I walk for a while. So it's changing the level. So your body basically increases its intensity level and then cools down. It never gets used to one way of being. And there are studies that show that helps to burn fat better than steady state training does. But here's the thing about cardio. So steady state training is maintaining the same level or keeping about the same pace the entire time. Steady state training immediately is better for increasing endurance. You can still increase endurance with interval training, absolutely. You can increase your explosive start strength immediately with interval training, but steady state training allows your body to get used to a zone of intensity and hold it for a long period of time. So that's why I'm recommending that you can intertwine these different types of trainings if you're finding that you need more stamina in your sex life.
Okay, I get it now. So it's the stamina, it's the flexibility, and fat burning to a point, I suppose, depending on your self-esteem. If you feel go ahead.
No, absolutely, and strength. I would say flexibility, but I wouldn't stretch for that. You do active stretching, not passive stretching. So Pilates would be a great active. Well, it's not all active stretching, but a lot of it is active stretching to increase your range of motion, your flexibility. And then, yes, the stamina would be your cardio, and then your strength, your ability to hold yourself up, or your ability to do funny things would be your muscular strength.
Wonderful. Wow. So let's suppose that I'll pretend that I'm your customer, and I come in, and I'm 20 pounds overweight. I never exercise. I've been married for 20 years, but our sex life is kind of lost its, pizzazz. What would you do for me?
Well, I would first
Hopeless?
Have you read the book. No, not at all. Not at all. I'd ask you questions, and I would assess you, and I would look at all different aspects of your life. I would ask you what you eat. I would ask you if you don't do any exercise, why, or have you done exercise in the past? I would ask you about your health history, because if I was going to put you on an exercise program, I'd want to know what your health history is, if you have any joint issues or diabetes or heart disease. I would ask you about your relationship. I would ask you about all the complaints that you have about your relationship. And then I would ask you about the relationship with yourself. And I would ask, because a lot of times people will say, especially women, well, he doesn't do this, or they're not doing that. And the question you have to pose is, well, are you doing that for you? Anything you want someone else to do for you really just means you need to pay more attention to doing it for yourself. Again, you cannot expect someone else to love and respect you if you don't love and respect you. So if you want flowers, you don't have to wait for someone to buy you flowers. Go buy yourself flowers. If you want to go dancing, you don't have to take your husband. Go dancing. There are plenty of classes people can take, and you can fulfill that part of you. And the more joyous and fulfilled and happy and whole that you are, the faster what you want will come to you, because someone's not trying to fill your hole and fill your gap. Because what happens in reverse is when you're not feeling loved, you're not feeling respected, then you're going to lash out and yell at everyone else and tell them it's their fault. And nobody wants to get blamed for work that's yours. So it's your job to respect yourself first. So if you don't feel sexy, then I'd ask you about how you dress. And I'd ask you about, if you get dressed up and if you go out and if you buy nice clothes or if you wear nice clothes or if you put makeup on sometimes or if you wear jewelry or if you dance around your house. And they're actually in the back of this book, there's a 4-week plan to implement all kinds of different things for people who can start giving themselves the attention that they want. Because then what happens, when Brian finally did call and say, hey, I'm going to come up and visit you, that was at a time in my life where the only thing I was missing was sex. I had companionship, I had dancing, I had exercise, I had wine tasting, I had travel, I was the happiest I had ever been by myself. I had friends and people so you can't look for relationships to patch the holes in yourself. You have to fill your own holes first, and then you can have a healthier, more authentic relationship with somebody else.
That's amazing. If a married couple or a couple that have been together for a long time, begin to have difficulty with their sex life, the first thing the woman might think about is going to a sex therapist or going to see her doctor or something. Whereas if they come to see you, you're going to help the whole person. And hey, more people need to be thinking about going to a physical therapist or an exercise therapist such as you. Let's see, am I giving you the right title? Rather than necessarily to a sex therapist, because a sex therapist might be just thinking about the act itself and not the whole thing. I have another question for you, JJ, and I didn't do this in the beginning. And can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you prepared yourself for this occupation that you have?
Sure. I started out as a personal trainer, and I learned about the different sciences of the body in order to be a problem solver with people in the gym who wanted to lose weight or build muscle or strengthen themselves or overcome diabetes or overcome a injury of some kind. And the different sciences that a lot of people aren't aware of. People think exercise just means move more. And there's actually a lot of science in exercise. There's your anatomy, first of all, it's a structure. It's like I used to call myself an exercise architect. And that's still accurate when it comes to the exercise part, but here's where it's expanded. So my company, Invisible Fitness, was originally branded upon the idea that I look at your body as a building or as a structure, and the structure can take forces applied to it, whether it be you walking around or your body weight or adding weights or whatever. That forces outside of your structure are going to cause some kind of result. So, for instance, the Leaning Tower of Pisa is a mystery to all of us because we all know gravity pulls down, and that's a heavy building, and how come it hasn't fallen yet? So in the way that we think about force on that building, it's the same thing with the force on our bodies. We wear our joints down. We can get injured. Some forms of resistance are bad for us. Some forms of resistance are good for us. So in the physical realm, I was much more interested in helping people to design programs that would help to maintain the integrity of their joints. You can do exercises for the same muscle groups in 2 different ways. You can do it in one way that actually speeds up the degeneration of your joints, which makes you have pain sooner. Or you can exercise the same muscles in different ways that preserve your joints.
Amazing.
So I started out very passionate about the application of force, which is physics and biomechanics, about the joints. However, what I would run into is people who I would use all of these physical sciences on and would still have problems, would still not overcome the issue. So at that point, I didn't have enough tools in my toolbox to fix the problem for them. So I went out and I learned more tools. And I realized and learned that a lot of pain, so there's several factors. There's not only the physical aspect, There's also nutrition. So biochemistry is important for how the body puts itself together. There's also hormonal. There's also psychological and mental and emotional. And I'm going to put spiritual with emotional. So all of these different other elements help to create the environment from which your body is responding to. And physical and exercise and science of the body is only one piece of it. So I've branched out to learn about all the other pieces because physical, if physical works, then great, then we're done. But I have several people where physical wasn't the last step, and physical didn't work because the mind got in the way, or the biochemistry got in the way, or the belief system that was put in their brains when they were between ages 0 and 8 was in the way. So that's sort of the path I've been down. In fact, now we're sort of rebranding me. I'm trying to find the right term, so if anyone watching has a good one, let me know. The current name is self-empowerment trainer. I don't love it. It's accurate, but it isn't cool. Because I need something, I need a bigger umbrella from which I can talk about all these things. Personal trainer has never been enough because personal trainer just says I help you exercise, and that's not it at all. Exercise architect is more specific for the exercise part, but then we look at the spiritual and the emotional and the mental and the relationships and all of that put together. So that's my background.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful. And you are passionate about it. That's plain to see. I can see that it's difficult to come up with a title because it's so all-encompassing. And you need a title that's brief enough that it'll fit on your business card, but it also needs to describe accurately what you do. So, wow. You are an amazing woman, and just like I promised my viewers, I knew this was going to be a great interview, and it has been. So is there anything else you'd like to add before we finish? I'll give you the last word.
Oh, goodness. Okay, well, for anyone watching this before November 24th, you can get a copy of my book for free if you like my fan page on Facebook. So you find me on Facebook, and the campaign link is there, and you just press, or go to, actually, here's a better idea. Go to my website. Go to fittolove.info. So it's FIT, it's right, this one. FIT2.
the number 2, love, LOVE.info. That's your website. Okay, they go there.
It will link you to the campaign on Facebook. And so the campaign's only running until the 24th of November. You can get a free copy on your Kindle or just wherever you want to read it, a free copy of Fit to Love. So feel free if you're interested. Otherwise, you can buy it on Amazon.
That's a wonderful offer. Now, the offer is just for the ebook or for the printed book?
The ebook.
The ebook. That's wonderful. So I'm sure there'll be thousands of people going there to get the free book, and I will definitely send it out to my mailing list as well. They love free books. Okay, JJ, it's just been a delight talking with you and learning a few things that I can maybe apply to my life as well, and I shall hurry right out and get a free copy of your book. Thank you so much for your time with Talk Story TV.